Scorpio, welcome to your reading for 2021, general reading. And so we're sort of going to look at, like, this has been a very challenging year. I mean, for many of you, they've been challenging years prior, but, I think this has been globally one of the most challenging years for the whole world, And so we're going to just have a look for you and see. I'm going to first of all draw for you an oracle card from the Spellcasting Oracle deck, which I bought especially for these 2021 readings. Then we're going to draw your tarot. We're going to finish off with an oracle card, and we're going to see what the universe has got to say for you for a direct message. So, quite a jam-packed sort of reading for you. And just to also let you know, sometimes we look at a reading and initially the reading doesn't really sort of resonate with us, we're like, that doesn't resonate. But as you sometimes go forward, then later in the day or the week or the month, even in the year, then it starts to sort of make sense. So I do encourage you to look at the whole reading, and if you feel that it still doesn't resonate, there's a link in the description that says free natal charts. You can go look at your placements. If you may be looking at love or communication or something else specifically, then you can go look at that reading as well. Okay. If you also look in the description, you will see there is that the link for AC Digital Marketing Solutions, which is my best friend that does my thumbnails. And I mean, if you look at the thumbnail for this reading, it is just, it's beautiful. It's amazing. So let's first of all see what we've got for you for a Spellcasting Oracle card. What are we looking at? What is the energy that you want to focus on as you move into 2021? All right. For those of you that have been supporting me this year, especially this year, it has been such a challenging year for so many of us. I want to let you know that I'm so appreciative from my heart. I really appreciate every single one of you. Every like, share, comment, subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Adrian. I'm an intuitive healer. I practice holistic wellness, and I'm also a spiritual regression hypnosis practitioner. So the card that came out for you, and this is so wonderful, it says friendship. This is about the better understanding, which I think many of you will be so happy about, because if there's one of the problems that I think that Scorpio generally struggles with the most, is that you are being so misunderstood. Okay. A lot of times your intention is really to sort of, point out to people their flaws and what is not working. You try to better things, but the way that you sometimes go about it can be very misunderstood. And I feel that for you going forward, what is so actually amazing is that a lot of people get to see that you were right all along. That you were right all along, that your way of looking at things were different, and you actually help a lot of other people reach their sense of elevation. So that sense of always wanting to help that you actually have, that in itself is actually unfolding in incredible ways. Now, the one thing that I want to encourage you on, and I really want you to hear me on this, is that sometimes, one of the things that typical Scorpios sometimes have is that you can be so invested in helping others, but you completely disregard yourself. In actual fact, sometimes instead of facing your own pain, instead of facing your own challenges, and what it is that limits you, unresolved issues, you focus on other people more, and that in itself can cause cause like conflict sometimes. All right. So remember to always focus on you first also. Let's grab you. What are we going to use for... there we go. So for your tarot, we're going to use the OSHO deck, which was also used for the readings for Cancer. Okay. Fellow water sign. This beautiful OSHO deck was actually given to me as a gift by one of my subscribers, and I thought it was such a beautiful gift. It just touch my heart. Like, I'm such a blessed person. It's just incredible. All right. Okay. Those are too many cards. So it's a whole lot of messages that actually want to come out for you, which is really, really cool. So we're looking at the energy we're focusing on is, what's coming towards in 2021. Now, a lot of you... Oh, okay. There was a lot of, I feel, reaching out for many of you in 2020, 2019, and there was a lot of disappointments. Okay. There was a lot of reaching out. Now, you're not always all going to like it when I say this, but I want you to hear me on this, all right? A lot of you were reaching out with the best conscious, conscious mind intentions. You really wanted to help, you really wanted to be there, you really wanted to shine, you really wanted to do your best in all those cases. So the conscious intention was good, all right? It was beautiful. But the subconscious intention, and I want you to listen to me, all right? Our conscious mind is only about 10% of our entire mind. Then you get your subconscious mind, which is like 90% of your mind. From the time that we were born, all throughout our whole life, we are presented with, many sort of like words and ideas of who we ought to be, of who we should be, of who we are meant to be, okay? Which is not necessarily who you are, Leo, no man. Which is not necessarily who you are, but it is who the world tells you that you should be, okay? I almost thought I caught his tail. I'm like, oh my goodness. But there was no sound. And so, yes, many of you have reached out. You might have reached, you might have sort of, put yourself out there with, friendships, relationships, new chances that you took. And your conscious intention might have been very, very good. But that subconscious intention, that, those subconscious limiting beliefs that is built up through our life by the experience that we have, by those things that, remember, everything that we don't deal with forms part of our subconscious belief about ourselves. If you had to go through traumatic experiences, say you were 3 years old, and maybe say your parents were fighting, or you were maybe watching material on television that was above your sort of like your age, whatever. Your mind accepts that as truth for yourself until you communicate to your mind that you don't really need it. So consciously, you may have really tried your best in many, many things, really put yourself out there. Really, I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to, have compassion, show compassion, experience compassion, all those type of things. But subconsciously, there was a different sort of thing going on. So, and this was sort of like this year. So where you currently are, I feel that for many of you, it's almost like you're seeing the world very upside down at the moment, a lot of hurt in your life at the moment, a lot of pain in your life, a sense of rejection, feeling that, almost like feeling that others made you feel that you're not good enough, that you did your best and it was sort of like overlooked. Now, I want you to hear me on this. Just the fact that you went out there and did your best, that's how you're coming from your side. But the way that it might have been perceived by others may be entirely different. All right? And this is a time where you want to turn away from feeling that you are always the victim, to whoever that may, apply to. Instead of feeling that you're always a victim and the world's doing you wrong, and, it's they're always so wrong towards me, it really is time to say that maybe if I look at this thing in a different way, maybe somehow I contributed to this, and it doesn't mean that you were consciously a bad person, but maybe, by focusing so much on other people's good and other people's growth and not always focusing so much on my own, maybe I've sort of neglected myself and I created a version of myself, or I maintained a version of myself that it's time to let go of. It's time to let go of the past. It's time to let go of the pain. There's a lot of masks that are being worn here at the moment. The mask of strength, the mask that I'm okay, the mask that I'm fine, the mask that I'm alright. It's time to let all of those go. Because remember, as we said with your card in the beginning there with friendship, and this is wonderful, that we get into the space where a lot of you are realizing that a lot of things that you've done in the past, the way that you've done in the past, wasn't always serving the best intention, some of you are realizing that you have been incredibly petty. You're getting it. There were things that, yes, it was justifiable that they would have hurt you, that would have hurt your heart, but I really want to encourage you where you are at the moment to also realize that you're not as innocent in all these things as you might have, like yourself to think. So there's a lot of justification taking place here, but I also feel that, and I feel that you can relate to this, where you're realizing that you weren't always as right as you would have liked to be. All right. But now what's wonderful going forward, and sometimes things can be very challenging when we're dealing with them at the moment, but then going forward, there's that space of like living from moment to moment, living within the moment, not having this almost sort of unrealistic dream sometimes, not setting, because a lot of you have been setting yourself up for failure without even realizing that you've been doing that. But there's a healing from that. And the way that is healing and happening, and encourage you to do that in a healthy, self-loving, supportive way, is to realize that sometimes you could have handled things differently, and it takes you into the space. I feel that for many of you, beginning to see things in a different way. There's a better sort of way that's coming towards you that you might not have been aware of, and it's actually quite nice. You're beginning to see the flaws of how you contributed to many situations that you would have previously believed were not your fault, but now actually seeing that that in many ways they were. All right. Clarifying with the Radiant Rider Tarot. Let's see what we have. Oh, nice. So this is in the recent past. Okay, now you see, this is the beautiful thing about tarot, and this is what makes it clear for us. Why are you where you currently are? Why are you experiencing a lot of the very contrived, almost like really hurtful feelings that some of you might be experiencing at the moment, feeling very isolated? Because there was a desire for truth. There's a desire for true connections, friends, family, to move forward. You got tired of being this hamster on the wheel, the same thing over and over and over and over. It became very tiring to you, You got tired of being disappointed. You got tired of being hurt. You got tired of feeling that you're not good enough, that you're always the one, sort of left out in the dark, left out in the cold. You got tired of that. And because you got tired of that, it's when we get tired of things that we also realize what it is that we want to have, and I believe it's a very important step to sometimes realize what it is that we simply, won't accept about life anymore. Or in your case, I feel like, it's almost like you didn't want to accept it. I don't want to accept this anymore. I don't know how I'll move through it or past it, but I do know that I'm not prepared to sort of always feel like, that I'm not, like I'm not special enough, not good enough. And you wanted that sense of, that sense of life, that part of life, the world, whatever. You wanted that to come to an end. Like I'm done with this. I've had this. There was a desire for true connections. People that you can really be yourself with, truly yourself with, moving forward with, beautifully, powerfully. And those are all wonderful, 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 beautiful things, aspirations to have, which brought you to where you currently are, because then you begin to realize that a lot of the connections that you have in your life are not as authentic as you might have, yourself to believe. So now you're being brought to this point where, and this is really deep soul work sometimes, and it's not like the it's not like the sexiest work to do, but where we realize that I'm not as innocent in all of this. I've got a share in this, in what went wrong. But now let's look at this, because some of you are unwilling to do the inner work, and believe me, you're doing yourself no favors there. All right, when we want to get back at others, and we sort of want to do revenge, or we want to be like sneaky, you're not doing yourself any favors. All right, and also there's I almost feel that for many of you, a lot of the sort of darker patterns that you would have immersed in before, they don't really give you that sense of fulfillment anymore as they would have before, So before, you might have wanted to get revenge, and you want to get them back, and you want to let them know who you are, and nobody's going to mess with you. But it's almost like like where you are at the moment. You realize that I'm not doing myself any favors here. I'm alienating myself from my own sort of greatest potential. And I see a beautiful twist and change taking place here for you, where where you actually go forward and you realize that what, sometimes I was wrong. Sometimes I wasn't as right as I would have liked to believe that I am. And yes, there might have been very many justifications for why you are right, but you're actually realizing that what, I wasn't always that nice. I wasn't always that nice. Um, and this is you also giving yourself probably more of a chance than you may have had before. I feel for many of you, there were extreme self-confidence issues that were taking place. And that in a sense is being cleared out, where you're also beginning to see how the work that you are doing is attracting positive things to you. So when we don't sort of want to keep score of who did what to us, and I'm going to show them who I am, and it's almost like in a sense of like, what, why have I been doing that? Why have I been doing all those things all along? They really haven't been benefiting me at all. And it's also for many of you, we're really beginning to see the beauty of living in the moment. You're getting to see your inner strength. You're getting to see, and I love this, the many things that sort of fueled some of the actions that you took. A lot of the undealt issues within the past, as we have like the Three of Swords over there, a lot of the things that you didn't deal with in the past, that you would just be like, oh no, it's okay, it doesn't affect me at all. You're really beginning to see that it is by pretending that many things, were not really a problem, that, everybody else has to deal with the shadow side, but I mean, I'm Scorpio. I don't need to deal with any of my shadow sides. I'm fine. It's like you're beginning to see that, but I have to, and and in that sense, we unlock the inner strength that we have within ourselves. We take our manifestation power beautifully to the next level in incredible, incredible, incredible ways. Okay? And you've got the power to do this. I mean, remember, you're the one who brought yourself to this reading. You are ready to hear this information. Okay? That you are ready to live a life that surpasses your greatest dreams. Okay? So let's look at what's coming towards you. There's a lot of forgiveness taking place here. A lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that cannot stand a Scorpio. They can't stand them. The moment somebody goes Scorpio, they go like, I don't want to hear. And yes, a lot of people has got their own things that they're dealing with, and it's not always your fault, but a lot of those things were your fault. And there's a beautiful, as I see you going towards 2021, there's a beautiful release of many of the patterns that weren't serving you in a positive way, and that in itself puts you in wonderful. It's almost like when you don't waste your energy and your time on so many things about who did you wrong and revenge, and when you don't think so much on that, you're beginning to see incredible ways in how you can actually build your life in very positive ways. Health and money, especially stability, beautiful. A lot of letting go. Yeah, wonderful. Really, really wonderful. Let's get you one more. So you're really setting yourself up for this beautiful, beautiful life, which is incredible. And I mean, we all do that. Yeah. This is you learning how to maintain your energy in a much healthier way, all right? So that you actually get the desires of your heart that it is that you'd like to have. Because I feel that you're now coming from more pure sort of intentions, and it doesn't mean that there's no judgment here. It just means that previously you sort of immersed in ways that were not really the best ways, okay? But remember, we also all work together in life in unison as a whole. Sometimes people need to learn those certain lessons. And in that sense, Scorpio does very divine work, very beautiful, beautiful divine work, because, a lot of times, as we go forward in life, we need to grow and we need to learn certain lessons, and you need to learn to forgive and to move on, and those type of things. And often, the energy of Scorpio in the zodiac sense of the word, they sort of create that beautiful space for you, force something to forgive. They do something that sort of like, I don't know, scratches your nerves a little bit. And, but that in itself helps you to elevate, but which is a wonderful thing to do. But it sort of got yourself into a bit of a jam in a tight spot there, and now it's your time to shine. Okay? Let's see what we just have for you. I just want to grab you some clarification here quickly. Yeah. Self-love, letting go of destructive patterns, beautiful new parts. You can actually be looking forward to really, really, really good stuff, that previous version of who you are, it's like putting out that rubbish bin and burning it, I'm like not prepared to sort of immerse in those lower vibes, where you kind of almost tend to lose out on. All right, and if it resonates with you, you're more than welcome to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Remember, I've got more readings coming up for you. And an oracle card. Let's see, we're gonna draw for you from angel answers. So at this point, if maybe you've got a question inside your heart, you're more than welcome to ask it. Let's see what we've got for you going forward. And I'm very happy because my best mate and my first mate is making breakfast. I can actually smell it. So when I'm done with your reading, I'm going to go have breakfast. It's actually more like brunch, but yeah. There we go. Very quick, very positive changes coming about for you. It says within the next few weeks. All right. So you may be going through a period that might be quite challenging as you go abroad, but you're also starting to see a lot of changes coming towards you, positive changes coming towards you, things that you might be wondering about, hoping for. Those changes are taking place quite fast. Very positive, movement there. And I just saw, as I was shuffling, I saw the World card there for you, which, if I remember correctly, didn't we have it earlier on as well? Yeah, we started off your reading. I don't think I showed it to you, but we started off your reading clarifying there your recent past. We had the World, and this was really you, desiring to have a more beautiful experience of life, and obviously that means that we have to look at what are the things that are holding us back and stepping away from those. It's all fine and well to know what's holding us back, but we have to do the work sometimes, and the work can be very challenging. All right, so getting you a message here from the universe for 2021. First of all, very strong reminder for you to be patient with yourself. Okay, to be patient with yourself. You are breaking or healing from patterns that you built throughout your lifetime, from your pathology, from your previous ancestors. Things that were taught to you that weren't serving you best were taught to your parents by their parents, by their parents, by their parents, by their parents. So you're moving away from that, and that's being released for you. It's beautiful. Things are turning in your favor as you're doing the work, as you're doing the inner work. King of Cups, this is a beautiful connection with yourself. For those of you that were feeling very restless, like your life is not fulfilling, like you don't get what it is that you want to have. Another card that came out for a second time around was the Chariot. So I'm going to draw another, I was going to say I was going to draw a card, and then it just came out. Five of Swords. This is you, in many senses of the word, seeing how, again, how you were wrong, how you were not the best possible person, how you sort of dabbed into that lower sort of energy that, and those thoughts, manipulation that weren't always serving you in the best positive way. And it's wonderful because you are moving away from that. We all do crappy things in this world. We're just humans. We just do it, But it's in realizing what we are doing where it's not serving us in the best positive way, and being willing to put in the work and move forward, and not just sort of fool ourselves that I'm just going to call on the angels and I'm going to call on the fairies, but actually doing the work, doing the inner work, walking the difficult path, feeling the emotions, doing the forgiveness for ourselves, as well as for others. That is how we move forward, and this is what's happening for you in 2021, which means as the Wheel of Fortune there clarifies, things are working out for you. As the Chariot says, they're moving forward. King of Cups is a beautiful inner sense of peace, a sense of belonging. Some of you have been feeling lost to the world for most of your life, and this is you moving forward. And this is a beautiful divine thing taking place, and you know, I would encourage you to do something that makes you less high strung, you know, yoga, plants, whatever. Do something that makes you happy, because this is your time. All right, may 2021 be the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful year that you ever lived. I wish it from my heart to your heart. Namaste. Love and light.